G'day watchers, welcome to Perth Watch, your horology channel broadcasting from right here in Perth, Western Australia. Today I have the pleasure to feature my newest Cadisen, the newest one they've sent me. Now this isn't the latest model, I don't think, but it's something that piqued my interest because of the piece it homages. So, you know, it comes in the typical cardboard box. I think many Cadisen do come in kind of flat cardboard like this. Nothing too special, but you know, seriously, who needs a box? Rolex owners probably can't find their boxes anyway, and who wants to spend $1,000 on packaging? This is good enough. So guys, without further ado, let's flip it around and take a closer look at today's Cadisen piece. Alright, here we have it on the table. Cardboard box, little bit of relief there, nothing too special here, you know, it is really just a cardboard box. Spinability wise, not the most fantastic because I think this is not the most even surface here. That's probably less than a 3 out of 5 in my opinion. What do we have here? You know, operation guarantee, whatever that actually means. And then manual, which really isn't needed. This is a multi-caliber manual, of course, as they normally do. The movements are so intuitive, I don't think you really need to read that, or at least a lot of watch enthusiasts wouldn't. And a microfiber cloth. What you have here is the 4 links that I've removed. So they actually got a kind of a spring bar tool as well, which is appreciated, I guess, for those who may be running short on them. Alright, so just showing you guys this piece in more detail. So this is none other than the Cadisen President. Of course, it's a C8185 is the model number, but I'm going to call this the President because that really is what this is. Now, the full price or the usual price is $115 on AliExpress, as I have just checked it. There is a $10 off coupon that I'm apparently supposed to share with you guys, so I'll put all the links down the bottom if I get them. Otherwise, 115 is the normal price here. 105, I guess $100 rounded is the discussion here. Now, moving on, as usual, first up, as I usually do, let's talk about movement. Movement in here, none other than a Miyota, in this case 8285, something that I have never had on the channel. It's got the full day on the top of the dial there, as per Rolex President. Of course, that's very much inspired by Rolex. That's why people try to spell out the full day, even though who really needs the full spelling? I guess maybe some people might forget how to spell Friday, Sunday, etc. Otherwise, the stats are as per other 8000 series movements, all down the left side of the screen there. Of course, it's got that quick set day as well as date in the 3 o'clock position here over that Oyster magnifier. Hacking, manual winding, and then talking about the rated accuracy, as you can see listed there in use, this is pretty much bang in the middle of the range. Plus 10 seconds per day is what this is running for me. Right, moving on to case here. Right, what we have here is a 40mm diameter case. You know, of course, it's just lifted from the President. 11.4mm is the thickness to the top of the Sapphire, flat Sapphire there. The lug width, however, is a bit weird. They've chosen to go with 22mm. I believe the real thing is 20. Not sure why they made this 22, but this is what it is, 22mm lugs. Lug to lug distance is 48.5mm there. Overall weight, not very heavy because, you know, this steel isn't, I suspect, completely solid. It's 125 grams with the 4 links, which I have removed. Of course, it's going to be slightly heavier if you have a larger wrist. Moving on to finishing then. So, fluted bezel. And that's polished, of course. They're not going to do anything different. It's got a polished top of the case as well as sides. So the top surface is all polished bling. Bottom, however, has circular brushing on the undersurface of the lugs there. And then it's got that polished screw down display case back that you can see there. The crown, disappointingly, however, is not screwed down. It's just a push crown that winds in the 0 position. Water rating they've given this watch is 50 meters. So that's really what we're dealing with here. The dial, so moving on to dial action here, we're talking about a sunburst President style dial. Okay, there's no other way for me to describe this, right? Applied logo, applied indices, which are Roman numerals in alternating positions. So you can just see that for yourself: 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. The alternating even positions are Roman numerals, and then there's a simple baton intervening between those. It's got printed name. It's printed railroad chapter ring around the periphery, and then it's also got the flange with the Cadisen name at the side there, right? You're not going to miss that out because Rolex do it, so you've got to do it, right? Cadisen. Polish straight handset, right? No lume in this watch, and I believe that is again like the real thing. I think there's a dial version that has lume, but this Roman numeral dial type of configuration usually doesn't come with lume. Now, on top of that is a flat sapphire crystal with a Cyclops magnifier, right? Does that Cyclops magnifier actually give you 2.5 times? I don't think it does. Maybe that's closer to 2 times. And then usually people somehow aren't able to do that apart from Rolex. You know, Rolex is supposed to be 2.5. This looks more like 2 times to me. Bracelet wise, okay, moving on then. So this is what Rolex call the President bracelet, and this is completely inspired by that. 3-piece pearling, brush and polish finishing. So polish in the middle, brush on the side, and then polish on the side surface there. This has solid end links, right? But it's push pins, right? You're not going to get screw, or at least Cadisen have chosen not to give us a screw construction bracelet. This is just push pin. It does taper to 17 millimeters, right, at the narrowest portion there. And then the clasp, it's not like the real thing. This is actually just a push button butterfly deployant. Okay, that's really what it is. Okay, so there we have it. Let's just snap it on the wrist now. Okay, if I can quickly for a wrist shot for you guys. And there we have it. So this is the Cadisen President, remembering 40 millimeters, 48 just above 48 millimeters on the lug to lug, 11.4 thick, and that President homage bracelet there. Okay, so there we go. That's what we are looking at here on the wrist, right? That's how it sits. Okay, so let's talk about pros and cons. What have I enjoyed? What have I liked about this? Well, I think it's pretty darn good value, right? You're talking about $100 or thereabouts. President homage offering, a good fraction of the function, right? It's really what fraction of the price is this? About 0.3% of the real thing, maybe something like that, right? And what function does it give you? Probably at least 20%. Some people would say 80% of the function of a President for that amount of the price. I think the specs are good enough, right? They're giving real sapphire. I've actually tested that. That's actually real sapphire. Not the back, but the front is. And it's got an interesting Miyota movement, which, despite me doing how many 100 reviews, I have never come across this movement. So that's something that has been interesting for me to see. What are the weaknesses? Right, it's visibly imperfect finishing here, right? That if you look at that fluted bezel, it's not sharp. Right, the edges of this is not sharp. None of this is fantastic, right? And you don't expect it. I don't expect it at $100. You might expect something slightly better, but a lot of it's going to be this level of finishing. There's no lume. There's no water resistance, at least not in a level where you would take it into a pool, not with that push crown. And it's got an OEM factory Chinese quality feel all over it. Not that it's a bad thing, but at $100, I think that's kind of par, right? The bracelet, however, I would say is maybe slightly subpar, right? The push pins, it's a little bit flimsy, a little bit jangly. I think this can be slightly better. I expect something better at $100 level. And then, how they would lift this, I think very easily. They really should have done a screw crown, right? If they're really homaging the real thing, do a screw crown, and then maybe screw links, as Pagani can do, would be very easy little things to lift the whole thing. Okay, so guys, that's my view on this watch. Let's flip the camera around now for the wrap up. So there you go, guys, my review of the Cadisen El Presidente, the Cadisen not Rolex President. Let me know your thoughts below. Yes, it is not a Rolex, but do you really need one? Will this do for you? It depends, of course, in your walk of life, where you are and your budget, all sorts of stuff. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on an homage piece like this of a watch that is, considered, I guess Rolex call it par excellence, the dress watch par excellence. What do you think? The real one for $40,000 or this one for about $100? Would love to hear what you think. Let the debate go on. So guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys again next time.